So I'm gonna make a skimboard, very quick and dirty. So I got a small piece of plywood that I've let soak, just the tip, so I can give it a rocker. I'm doing it this way, I'm not cutting the shape first because in the process of making it wet, making it pliable to be able to bend it, you could have some delamination. So if I do have delamination, I'd rather just cut it out afterwards. Okay, so now I'm just gonna give it a rocker. I'm gonna set it in place with some weights on it. So the tip is gonna be 2 inches higher up. I have my 2-inch rocker. I put it in a piece of wood and put a bunch of weight on it. Now I'm just gonna wait for a day or two. The board is now bent. I have like a 2-inch rocker at the nose, and I'm gonna now trace out the shape I want and cut it out. And this is the little bit of delamination I was talking about. It's not a lot, but that's why I wanted to do the bend before, because you can get scuffs like that when bending if it's wet. So that's what I'm gonna do next. I'm just gonna trace it out and cut it with a jigsaw. Okay, so this is the template that I'm gonna transfer to the piece of plywood. Using the template, I made an outline. It is scratched in. I used a utility knife, and it is also highlighted in some places where I couldn't see the line that well. Okay, the next step is just to cut it out with a jigsaw. The outline is now cut. What's next is to sand the edges and round them over and give it a good sand all over. It is now all sanded. I rounded over the edges. Also the bottom edge, just not as sharp. It's not as rounded, I mean it's a little bit sharper. It does have a rocker, a lift on top and on the bottom, it just doesn't show from this position. Okay, so now what's next after it's nice and sanded? Gonna maybe use a little bit of paint and some 2-part resin. I think I'm gonna use epoxy because that's what I had, but maybe polyurethane works even better. I gave it a quick coat of white on the bottom. I might just sand it again to give it a washed look on both sides. And then seal it up with 2-part resin. So this plywood is 1/2-inch plywood. So I'm just gonna sand it again really light, and then seal it and waterproof it with a 2-part epoxy. What I've done now is just sanded it over a little bit, making it look a little bit worn, because I want it to look a little bit used. Next step is to coat it with a 2-part resin. Okay, so this is the 2-part resin. The first coat, and I have to sand between coats. Okay, so this is the first coat of the 2-part resin. All done. This is the second layer of resin. What I did with the first is I used a silicone plastic squeegee while it was drying, because it kept running and pulling up. So I just did that for an hour until it started to gelify enough to hold its shape, and it worked really nice. This is the second layer. So it's done. It's coated with 2 layers of epoxy resin. I put in the screw on the top and on the bottom just to help me coat it. I'll just remove the screws and plug the holes with 5-minute epoxy. But it's pretty much done. All it needs now is I need to glue on the bottom some grip pads. So there you go. Nice and easy project. Because of the resin, it's quite durable. Okay, well, hope this helps. Bye.